Hey y'all, this is Ayo Thick Madame. So this is the last episode of Queen Sugar recap. So yeah, let me go ahead and get into this. So Nova is at this studio that is doing something that's covering lineages and of course different things like that. They would love to pick up on the type of material that Nova is putting out there. So she's on there, she's greeted by someone before she even enters the building, and the woman is just like, it is my pleasure to meet you, I'm glad to have you, all this other stuff. So Nova is being escorted in by this woman. She's talking to her and doing what she normally does when she's trying to talk about her book and how she feels about it and all the other stuff. The woman gets her in this room, closes the door, and was like, I'm glad you said that, and drops a bomb on her. And she's just like, this is something that we found. We want your permission to see if we can put it into the show. So whatever it was, she looked at it and was like, no, I'm only here to talk about this part of my family, and that's it. Y'all, I was like, Lord have mercy, what is going on? So anyway, y'all, the show ends up coming on, and she's on there doing her set with the person that is going to actually be the one who's interviewing her. And the man goes on to say that, well, we found some things because you've stated that you are the last living female on your mother's side. And so she was like, yes, I am. And so she was like, well, we found that to not be true, and they've done some digging of their own, and her mother has one living female cousin, and she kind of lives off to herself in some parish. And it's a surprise to Nova, and they end up showing her a picture of this woman, and she was like, I'm sorry, the man was like, look, this was your mama's first cousin, and they were so close that they were almost like sisters. And so it actually made Nova feel good and happy about that, because she was conflicted about how things would be, since she felt like she was going to be the last person to bore, bore children, all the other stuff, and just the last living, breathing testament to her mother's lineage. So, in her mind, she's actually happy. And, she was like, well, what did she say? And so he was like, well, we were able to confirm that information was true as far as the two of them being blood related, and she actually is her mother's first cousin, but she declined to come on the show that day. So yeah. Apparently they used to be close, and I don't know if they're going to have a moment where Nova's gonna meet up with her. I'm pretty sure that's what they're gonna do. We're gonna have a moment where Nova meets up with her, and I don't know how that's gonna go, but I want to know what's going on, because he made a point to say they used to be close. So I'm like, okay, used to be, was it like just before she passed away? And they're saying used to be as far as, oh, they were really, really close until she passed away, or are they saying they used to be close and then as time went on by and they grew apart and whatever? That's what I want to know. Okay, y'all. So Charlie is talking to this black woman who is on the city council. And so she's, she already knows what she want to know. She already know what Charlie's there for. And so she's looking like, look, I understand that me and you are both women and we black, but at the same time, I can't be on your side. We can't be on your side, meaning herself and the city council members. They know what she's after. They want to know all this stuff that's going on. And she was just like, we're not going to help you. And so, with the highway situation, because that's what one of the main focuses of her campaign is going to be about. And so she was just like, look, we know what's going on with you, and we've read your sister's book. And so she was like, look, you can't let that, signify who I really am, and, some things have happened, but I've changed and all that other stuff, y'all. And, they already know about her deal with the Landrys and all that other stuff. So she was like, look, I sold my shares, all this other stuff. Like, I'm a new person. So she was just like, look, I hear you, but at the same time, the highways and all this stuff that's going on that these people trying to bring into our parish is going to bring about all these jobs and all this other stuff. But she was just like, look, if you come to me with the real reason why they brought this highway, then we can talk. So she's like, all right, basically, I guess she was just like, well, okay, I'm gonna have to figure it out then. Okay, so y'all, Ralph Angel pulled up to the house and the sheriffs are there. They rolled up to the house and they arrested some of his people. And he looking like, what's going on right here? And so they tell him that they found all kinds of drugs on them and all this other stuff. And so he was like, I know you planted that, whatever. Y'all, he was like, I do have cameras around here. He was like, yeah, we know. And so he sat up there. The man basically told him, yeah, we know you got cameras, and they tampered with them. And I'm just like, wait a minute, y'all. And so, of course, he's not doing anything wrong, and he's on his property. So he's demanding to know what's going on. And he's like, look, these guys didn't do nothing. I don't understand why y'all here. And he was just like, look, they got this stuff, and they ain't got no business having it, and we already know that this is the hot spot where all the ex-cons hang out. And so he was, reading the business. It's like, don't be trying to read this man's business. So, of course, he's out, being very, very upset, as he should be, despite his past. And so old dude gonna tell him, like, he want to end up in the back of the car. And so Ralph Angel had to calm down, because y'all know he can go from 0 to 100. So he had to calm down. They end up arresting the people and rolling out. And I was just like, oh my gosh, he's very upset about that, y'all. So Nova ended up leaving the place where she was doing that interview, and she ran into Calvin, which is the guy who, she let go, the white guy that she mentions in her book, the white guy who used to be a cop, a sheriff, or whatever. I think he was a cop. Anyway, they had their love affair. He used to be married. He is now divorced. Nova gonna say that she was sorry about the divorce. I was like, girl. And I mean, when she said she was sorry to hear that, I was just like, girl, that sounded so fake. Like, you could have just kept that to yourself. I don't even know why you said, oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. And he was just like, I'm not. And I mean, like, I understand the fact that their situation wasn't working out, meaning him and his wife, but he should have been going on by his business. I hate when people do that. And then you sit up there, and as I've mentioned before, I don't know how many of y'all have heard me do my little preaching when I've said that there are a lot of people that sit up here and will literally be legally married to these people for at least 10 years, and then if something pop off, one of y'all die, and you talking about, oh, I ain't with that person no more, I ain't with them no more. Or you become the type of person that both of y'all live, and then one of y'all retire, whoever retired first, that person started getting part of your retirement, and y'all ain't together no more. And it's like, okay, that's your fault. You should have stayed with them all that time. You wouldn't have to give up no money, because that was dumb on your part. Y'all need to get away from these people. If you're not with them anymore, there is no reason for you to continue to hold on to a situation that is dead. It's like, why? I hate when people do that. But anyway, y'all. So anyway, they were talking, and she literally is in Philadelphia right now. So she was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you're in Philly. And so he was like, yeah, I'm out here on business. I had some stuff I had to take care of. And, he does not work for the police department anymore. He has his own business. He said that he was going to do some things like that anyway, but he really is doing it. And, he has his own actual private security company. And, she was like, wow, okay. He ended up moving to Baton Rouge, Louisiana. So she was like, really? Baton Rouge? He was like, yeah, I moved to Baton Rouge. And so, he made a point to say something about how, he knows that she feels as though that he is the love of her life, and he feels the same way and all this other stuff. And I was just like, Lord, y'all doing the most. Y'all doing the most. And, I was kind of here for it, so I ain't gonna complain about it. I ain't gonna be, I ain't gonna be shady. I ain't gonna be too shady about the situation. But anyway, y'all, so I'm just trying to make this little thing do a little something to look a little bit halfway decent. But it don't matter, y'all. It don't matter. Y'all know I'm looking raggedy. I gotta wash my hair this weekend. Y'all see it look a little bit better. Look way better than this. So anyway, He, was a gentleman, and he opened her door for her, and, she was about to leave. So, he opened the door for her, and she, in turn was like, will you be free for lunch tomorrow? And he was like, yeah, I'll be free for lunch. What you mean? That's what he might as well should have said, because he said it all the way off rip. He was like, yeah, I'll be free for lunch. But anyway, y'all, Vi's at work. And so you would think that she would be, off her feet and tending to herself and not any affairs of the business outside of greeting customers, because she has people to do that. And she has a man who's there all the time. But y'all, Hollywood done left and went to his mama house, and he just with his mama, and it's just to the point where Vi does not even want to be touched in the slightest by her husband. So that's where he is for right now. So, she right now changing the bulb, and she talking to her employee. Her employee needs a ride home. And so they done turned everything off, and they leaving for the night. Y'all, less than 15 seconds later, after she done crunked the car up, somebody come in through the back and start vandalizing the place. They done cut the little seats up, the little cushiony part of the seats, then tore the tables up, then went all throughout the whole building, wrecking stuff. Y'all, the next day, Vi come in, she's talking to the old girl, because I think she went and picked her up too. Come in, and then she look in, she's like, oh my gosh. So anyway, I ended up calling the police. So I was like, Lord, y'all is doing the most. All right, y'all. So anyway, Darla is at work, y'all. Tell me why. Darla come in, and there's like a group of people like off in the corner, like doing the most. You could tell they talking about somebody. She go to her little desk, and like there is the book, Nova's book right there, face down. And when she picks it up, it's on the chapter, starting with the chapter that is about her. So apparently they have gathered that even though her name wasn't used, that it's about her. And so, she turns to try to, kind of, face them despite how she's feeling in the moment, which is exposed. And she's like, good morning. And then they barely doing a look. And I mean, they being so shady. I was just like, oh my gosh, y'all are trash. But anyway, y'all, she kind of panics, and she ends up calling Ralph Angel. Y'all, Ralph Angel didn't answer the phone. He got all this stuff going on down there to the ranch. I mean, not ranch, to the farm. And it's just a lot going on. So he ain't answer his phone right now. So then, we find out later on that she calls old dude who she's been going out on dates with. So anyway, she hung up the phone when he didn't answer. She didn't leave a message or nothing, because I thought she was going to at least leave a message. Y'all, I feel like I told y'all before, I feel like she's going to go back down that dark path unless somebody come and save her. And it seemed like that only person might be Ralph Angel. He ain't answering the phone, and he got a woman. So I don't know about all that. I don't know if that's what's going to happen with that. So anyway, Nova ended up meeting up with Calvin. And, they were having their lunch. Okay, so, Anyway, the police came to the diner and took a statement and took pictures and all the other stuff. And, y'all, Charlie and Micah came down there to, kind of give her some emotional support and all that stuff. And Micah asked if there was anything that he can do. And she was like, yeah, baby, you could get a trash bag and start, putting this stuff in the trash bags and stuff, because they tore it down. And, when he went off to do what he was supposed to do, Charlie was talking to her, and, they were like, well, we don't know who did it, and, we ain't got no cameras. I ain't never think I needed cameras around here, but I ain't got no cameras, so I definitely don't know who it is. Y'all, Charlie called Ralph Angel, and then they end up doing a scene where they show Ralph Angel at the house mad as I don't know what, because on top of what just happened at his house, all this that happened at his aunt's restaurant. So he really deep off in his feelings and getting angry. So old Ralph Angel is raising up out of him, and I'm like, please hold it in there. Just hold it down in there, because we don't need you going back to jail, sir. Calm down, calm it down. So anyway, he mad, and he's at the house, and his girlfriend is there. As we already know, she's like a lawyer or whatever, and old boy has been released, and he hasn't been talking to them. He hasn't eaten or none of that. And so she's trying to explain his chances and all this other stuff. And it's just like, they don't really care about his case like that, of course. And, you know, it's just a lot going on, and Ralph Angel is trying to speak from a personal standpoint, like, look, you know, I've been there, and, you know, you got to stay strong and all this other stuff, and you got to fight. And then old boy finally spoke. He was like, I am fighting. I am going to fight, or whatever. So, y'all, it was just too much. Y'all, Vi and Charlie are talking in the back of the restaurant, and they talking, and, you know, Charlie was trying to see what was going on earlier. She mentioned Hollywood earlier. She kind of, you know, talked a little bit fast and got past it that time. But, you know, they were talking, and so she was like, I got through this once before, I get through it again. And so she was like, what you talking about? And so she was like, well, my ex-husband, he basically ransacked the house back in the day. So, you know, she got through that. She said she was going to get through that. And so she was like, you know, what have you talked to Hollywood? What did Hollywood say? So she was like, I ain't called him yet. And so she looking like, what? Like, everybody know how much of an amazing couple they are. And like, when something pops off, Hollywood is usually in the know, one of the first people to be in the know. And so everybody, anytime she's like, I ain't talked to him yet and all this other stuff, everybody looking like, what you mean you ain't talked to Hollywood? Yeah, y'all. So a lot going on. So anyway, Ralph Angel ends up showing up. He gave his aunt a hug and was like, I'm here for you. And so then Charlie was like, I need to talk to you. You know, and so she was like, you know, something came up and whatever. So she took Ralph Angel back to her house where she had some technician to come. And he was able to pull footage from other establishments, other folks' businesses, to see if there was some kind of way that they can pinpoint who was the one who broke into her restaurant. Y'all, they saw one of the business partners of like the Landrys, the Boudreaux. Y'all know I keep getting them mixed up. Y'all let me know down in the comment section. I know I'm wrong. But to me, all of them are interchangeable at this point. But anyway, one of them was doing the most. One of their associates was doing the most, one of their partners. And they was out there like taking pictures of her establishment like weeks back. And so it's like they're really watching them. And then old boy was still, you know, running through stuff. And so she was like, I don't understand the connection. I don't understand why he's taking pictures of this. Like, what could he possibly want? And so he was like, I got him. So then they look at the footage and then they see the boy. So Charlie, of course, doesn't know who he is. Ralph Angel was like, Charlie, let me talk to you for a minute. Let me talk to you for a minute. So ended up taking her to the side and was like, that's Ignacio's son. And oh boy, I think Ignacio, if I'm not mistaken, is the worker of his that got arrested because they trying to, you know, they had ICE come in at that time. And he's been acting out. I mean, I thought it was going to be a situation where it was because he's acting out because his father's not there. Y'all, that ain't what it even was. So yeah, it was a lot. So he was like, you know, that's Ignacio's son, and you know what happened to his dad. Don't tell his mom about all this stuff or whatever. Y'all, it was a lot. Anyway, Nova is talking to Calvin, and she's explaining to him everything that's been going on since the book was released. And then they ended up going somewhere to play pool, and they're having fun. Like, you could tell that she's really, really happy. So I'm here for it. So, you know, she actually told him, like, this is the best day that I've had in a long time. Y'all, Ralph Angel done went to the house, right? And so his woman showed back up. And so, you know, he was coming from out of somewhere about to lock up or whatever. And so he was like, oh, I thought you'd be coming back later on. Y'all, she rolled up, you know, they did their little kissing and thing. I was like, yeah, yes, y'all better do that. And so, you know, she was like, you know, it seems like it's going to be a little bit going on as far as the case is concerned, y'all. And outside of that, they are trying to dig into everything. They have his business under review. Like, they doing the most, and they're trying to get it shut down at this point. Like, Ralph Angel is furious. That means they're going to take the grant back. All this stuff that has happened, everything's about to get reversed if he doesn't fight. So she was like, look, we're going to fight. And if they're going to take it from you, they're going to have to really work to take it from you. So, you know, she showed solidarity, and they kissed, and I was here for that kiss. That kiss was amazing. Y'all better do that. And y'all, Charlie went over to the house of where the mother and son lived, the son who vandalized the restaurant. And so they're talking to him, and the pastor's over there too. And so she's talking in their native language and all that stuff, talking in Spanish. And the mother is mainly worried that he's gonna go to jail. And so she was trying to reassure her, like, that ain't what's finna go down here. I just want to know why he did this. So it got to a point where he said that the only reason why he did it was because he was approached. He didn't just do it on his own. He was approached and he declined. And when he declined, the person was like, well, if you don't do this, your mama gonna end up like your daddy did. Because initially they offered him $500 to throw the brick through the window at the campaign spot and to vandalize the restaurant. So that's the only reason why he did all this. And so you could tell that he really didn't want to do it. You could tell he ain't no trouble to youth like that and all that. He's just in his feelings about his daddy, but you could tell he ain't out here like just vandalizing stuff because he wants to be trouble like that, y'all. So it just got to a point where she eventually showed a picture of old dude that had been taking pictures, and he did recognize him. And so the mama was just like, I just want to know, are you gonna arrest my son? Like, ain't nobody got time. I don't want to hear all the rest of this. Are you gonna arrest my son? Is my son going to jail? And so she was like, your son did do what he did, but I want the person who's behind all that. Okay, so Charlie ended up meeting up with Jacob, had him come to her office. And she's talking to him, and in all honesty, I didn't know how it was going to go, but while Charlie was at that house and the preacher was talking to her, he was talking about how he even recognized that man who was in the photographs because he came around at one point in time, and he is affiliated with some gas company. And so she was like, gas company? I don't even understand. And so he is involved with fracking and all this other stuff. Y'all, these people have been targeting these folks because they know that some of these people's land has little pockets where a lot of good energy is coming from, whatever, and they're trying to do what they need to do in order to get it. So anyway, she met up with him, and she, was talking to him and was like, she showed him a folder and it had Old World Energy on it. So he knew what time it was, and then he actually ended up giving himself up, said everything he needed to say, and come to find out wasn't even nothing in the folder except a sticky note that said thanks. And so he knew he had been had, and then she told him to get out the office, and that was hilarious. Y'all, so, she was just like, she done went all the way off before she got him to get out of the office. She was like, what is the highway for? I just want to know what is the highway for? And he was like, look, you know how big energy is. You need to get on board. We already knew that we had to get on board with somewhere. You're going to have to get on one side. We realized we had to do that a while back, so we did what we had to do. You're going to have to choose a side one day too. So, I don't know. Anyway, she told him to get up out. So anyway... Darla ended up meeting up with the dude that she had been dating and, explained to him what has happened to her while she was at work. And it got to a point where he was like, well, I think you need to call your sponsor now. You've talked to me, you need to call your sponsor. And she wasn't really trying to hear all that. So she was like, yeah, well, thanks for coming and I'll see you later or whatever. And he kind of was looking like, oh, okay, bye. And yeah. Y'all, Charlie met up with Vi, and she ended up bringing the boy who did what he did. And so she left him alone. And, y'all know how Vi is. Vi was like this. Yeah, get to explain it. So he started explaining what happened. And he barely got what he was going to say out. And so she was like, stop. I don't even want to hear no more. And don't even say nothing before I change my mind. So she did it like they did back in the day, which is you did something, you told something up, you work it off. So what he going to do is he going to come in 3 days during the week. And he gonna come in over the weekends and he gonna work the debt off until she feels as though the money has been paid off. That is gonna be going into the money that has been spent out of her good insurance to replace all that stuff that has been paid for once before. So anyway, y'all, in less than, and I mean, I understand how TV time goes, but she was back there for a couple of minutes. Y'all, she came out front to bring him out front because she was like, yeah, it's finna start now. Came out front, y'all. It was all kinds of people in there. The diner is completely done. It actually looks like one of those car hop diner, like old feel like diners. Y'all, I was even like, wait a minute, y'all. It was amazing. She was like, what is this? What is going on, y'all? She was very surprised. She was very happy. And Charlie was like, this is, everybody coming together, and that's the way it needs to be. And, everybody came in and they did it so quick. Like, it was just like, wow, that is amazing how they came together. I like that. I like when stuff like that happen in real life too. So anyway, Nova and Calvin are about to part ways, and they're trying to say their goodbyes, and she eventually says to him that she misses him, and she apologized for the way that she treated him and dismissed their relationship. And it's like she put a lot on him because she was deflecting and didn't want to accept what it was within how she felt as far as it was when she was dealing with him. And it was just a lot, y'all. She apologized and he apologized, and they basically said their goodbyes, and she got on the elevator and went on about her business. And I was just like, oh, okay. They hugged. I thought a big juicy kiss was gonna come, but they hugged. You could tell that both of them really enjoyed that hug. The hug was everything for them. So I was like, okay, y'all, Charlie is leading this silent protest after all this stuff has happened. And even that black woman who is on city council was there. A lot of people within the community was there. They all had these t-shirts on that signified what they were, trying to do. It was union, all kinds of stuff like that on the shirt. So yeah, Nova was packing her bag, and then she gets a knock on her door. She looking like, what that? Y'all, Calvin to set it off. He done popped up on her, and so he was like, I hope I'm not too late. I came by. I didn't feel like this was I didn't feel like this goodbye was right. So, he came by, so she invited him in, and they had a moment where she was just like, look, we both changed, we both grown, and, I don't know what we gonna do. I don't know if you want to try things. And, they basically were like, we gonna make this official. If we gonna make this official, we gonna make it official. And, she expressed her concerns because last time she got scared, and the last time they tried to go out there like that, she felt like she got broken, and she did get broken. A lot of people tried her. And when it comes to the interracial relationships, a lot of people do the most, even though this literally has been stuff that has been outlined within the current years. This wasn't the show is making it seem as though it's in 1965 or something like that. No, it was currently like 2016, 2017, 2018, all this other stuff. So it was recent years. So people are still being ignorant. As we can see, all this Trump stuff that's going on, people are out here as if they don't understand that we can see you. We see you. You don't have your sheet on. You do know we see you, right? And they don't care because they feel as though, oh, we have that person up there, so we really can come out and say what we want to say in droves instead of a trickle here, a trickle there. Anyway, but yeah, she was just saying that she's scared of them being together, and it didn't work out too well last time, and they're trying to become official, and so they kissed and all that other stuff. Anyway, Charlie and Micah are at home, and then he was like having a moment with her, and he showed her the pictures that he took from the silent protest. And so he was trying to encourage her to use that as a part of her platform, and she was just like, no, I don't want to do that. I don't want to make it seem like that was the only reason why I did it and all this other stuff. Y'all, all of a sudden her phone started blowing up, and the house phone started blowing up, but other random phones started blowing up. And so she was like, nobody ever calls that phone. So she ended up answering one of her phones, and come to find out the meal was set on fire. And that's how I ended. So anyway, y'all, hope y'all enjoyed this review. And over the course of the next few days, I'll be putting all my other reviews up that I was supposed to been put up, y'all. You see it's getting dark in here. It's getting late. Why I got to be here? Because I'm tired of my Y'all, I had a long day at work. I want to come back on here and tell y'all what it was, but I want to at least get a little bit of gameplay in. Play me some Call of Duty. That'll help release some things. And then y'all hear that? It's about to start storming too, so let me get some gaming in. I'll see y'all on the next one. I hope y'all enjoyed this. Like this if you want to. Subscribe if you want to. Have a good evening, y'all. Bye.